Jeanette talked about the fact that a lot of the things you're going to hear today are focused on how to find a good entry. Now, in my experience, people don't like uncertainty in the marketplace, and part-time traders especially don't really feel qualified in order for to make good trading decisions, and so they're looking for help. They're looking for people to help them find good opportunities. And today, what I'm going to share with you is what I call the rest of the story. You do need things that help you find good trade opportunities, but you need to know how to take those opportunities and systematically apply them in a way that's personalized to you. And so my tools aren't tools that help you identify a good trade to get into or when to get into that good opportunity. They're tools that help you structure your trading so that you can get more out of the tools you already have and get more consistently profitable. That's our goal for today. All right, let's make sure this works. Just my background a little bit. I've taught thousands of people. Probably personally, I've trained close to 15,000 people. I started with Invest Tools. I taught the Invest Tools method. It was simple, you know, buy on 3 green arrows, sell on 3 red arrows. I was drinking the Kool-Aid thinking, this is easy, everybody can make it happen. I was able to take 25,000 bucks and turn it into $40,000 like 5 times. So I made a lot of money, but then I gave it all back. And I don't know if you guys are the same, if you've made a lot of money and given it all back. And I wondered, why is it that so few people are actually able to turn this into a long-term profitable approach? In 2013, I started my own investment training company, and I worked with dozens. I have since worked with dozens of different experts, trading experts, to develop coaching programs around to teach people how they do what they do. But even still, I saw that very few people were able to meet the returns that the experts were making. And I wondered, why is that? What is the struggle? You have everything you need, or people are given everything they needed to be successful, but they still struggled like I did. They make money and then they gave it all back. Make money, give it all back. So I started in 2013. When I started that company, I decided I was going to spend a lot of time trying to figure out why. I was going to just solve the problem, why. And it wasn't until 2019, so almost 6 years of concentrated effort, to figure out why is it that so few people are able to actually have consistent profitability in the marketplace. And what I discovered blew my mind, and it could change your world forever. The problem that most people have with their trading is that they are focused on finding the right opportunity. In other words, they're focused on individual trades, and they're trying to outguess the market. So any success that they have, it kind of feels like they're being lucky, or that if any failure, they feel like they're a failure, right? There's a lot of bias there. There's a lot of misunderstandings around trading. And what I learned is that all the systems that I'd ever been involved in, dozens of different systems from dozens of different experts, all the thousands of people that I've trained, they are not taught a fundamental principle, okay? The fundamental principle, if you understand it, you can adapt, you can use it, but you have to personalize it. Michael Burry, when he first started trading, he tried to trade like Warren Buffett, who himself learned how to trade from a very famous investor, Benjamin Graham. But Warren Buffett's like, Michael Burry at one point said, look, I realized early that Warren Buffett didn't try to trade like, he had every advantage of learning from Benjamin Graham, but he had to learn to run his money his way by his rules. He had to personalize it. If you think about it, all of the famous investors that are out there, do any of them trade exactly the same? No. They follow similar principles, but they all have a different method, a personalized method of getting into the markets or deciding what they're going to get into and how long they're going to hold it. So one of the things that I learned is that random price action actually gives you a surprising benefit. People are afraid of randomness. They're stressed out by randomness. They want to control, find some way to get control in the markets, get predictability in the markets by looking at what to get into and when to get into it. But randomness is actually beneficial to traders. In fact, so much so that Ray Dalio embraces it. His whole idea of the way he approaches the markets is, look, you need 15 to 20 uncorrelated assets to significantly increase your return and significantly reduce your risk. So he's leaning into randomness. The thing about randomness that surprises most people is that it can lead to specific predictions. You can get a high level of predictability if you know what you're doing. This is the universal principle I'm talking about. When you approach the market, it helps if you know or are able to predict what's going to happen in the future. And I don't mean with individual trades, I mean through a trading framework. If you could develop a framework of trading rules that say this is what you should see at the end of the day, and you actually get that at the end of the day, that's a whole different way of approaching the market, and it's a completely confidence building way of approaching the market. Now, to explain the idea that randomness can create predictability, let's just look at coin flips, because everybody understands that. The outcome of individual coin flips is completely unpredictable. There's no way to control the outcome of an individual coin flip or reliably predict it. But if you flip enough coins, then the outcome is very predictable. Heads and tails will show up about 50% of the time. It's the same thing with trading. But you don't get that level of predictability based on the entry. You get it based on the exit. And you can define how many trades you want to win. So if you're a person that just can't stand the idea of losing in the marketplace, you can design a high win rate strategy. And the way you do that is you set your stop loss further away from the entry price than your profit target. If your profit target, you can see my hands, right? If your profit target is closer to the entry price than the stop loss, then the random nature of market movement will hit the profit target more frequently, and it will hit the stop loss less frequently. Therefore, you're able to adjust, and by what that ratio is, you can dial in a specific win rate. Most people don't understand that concept, but it's a powerful concept for exercising control over all of your trading and to give you a high level of predictability over every aspect of your trading. So for example, if you risked 1 to make 2, so the stop loss is half as the distance from the entry as the profit target, then the profit target is only going to get hit about a third of the time, just random market movement. And there's been a lot of math around this, so everything I'm telling you is mathematical, and you can prove it to yourself if you want to come to my boot camps. If you register, I'll be able to show you how you can prove it to yourself. But by setting defined ratio between your profit target and your stop loss, you can set yourself up for a predictable win rate, okay? Now, a predictable win rate doesn't mean that you're going to be profitable. We'll talk about that in a second. That goes back to what Jeanette was saying about risk and controlling risk, and we'll get into that in a second. So if you want to have consistent profitability, there are 3 main things that you need. Obviously, there's other elements to this, but you need to have the ability to create specific predictions defined by your personalized trading framework. You need a set of trading rules that you derive from those predictions that you think will make those predictions come true, and then you need to practice it, right? You need to actually follow those rules and get a feedback loop that tells you, yes, they worked, or no, they didn't work. You keep tweaking until your actual results meet your predicted results. The 3 free tools that we're giving away today, if you register, are the Trading Edge Calculator, which is the losing streak calculator, and the Putting It All Together and Developing a Trading Framework calculator. Now, to claim the free tools, all you have to do is go to tradethirsty.com/yes, and you'll automatically be enrolled into our boot camp, which will give you access to the 3 tools. So if you feel like you've been flailing around, spinning your wheels and working like crazy, going nowhere with your trading, it's time. And if you feel like your profits are based on luck, it's time. If you feel the markets are rigged against you, it's time. And if you're losing hope in your ability to enjoy real wealth, it's time to register claim your free tools, and start being much more systematic and much more consistently profitable. All right, let's get into what these three tools do. The first one is a trading edge calculator, and you can see here that it has four input boxes. One is the number of losing trades, the number of winning trades. What this does is it helps us define what your actual win rate is. So we know what level of trading, what your percentage of winners are over losers. Then you would type in your average profit and your average loss, and that tells us what's your base win rate, or given the ratio between your profit target and your stop loss, how many trades would the market's randomness suggest that you should win? Now, in this case, you can see that the average profit's $1,424, the average loss is 553. The base win rate, or the rate that the market's randomness would suggest, says I should win about 28% of my trades. But I'm actually winning 46% of my trades, so I have an 18% trading edge. A trading edge is simply the difference between what you're actually winning and what the market's randomness would suggest you should win, given your ratio between your stop losses and your profit targets, okay? Note that your trading edge may be negative. I've talked to a lot of people whose trading edges are negative, and it surprises them. But it's hard to also know that your trading edge is negative, because, you know, trade results in a random environment come in streaks, so that you're going to have some winners, some losers, and those streaks are of unpredictable length and frequency. And so you never really know, well, am I up, am I down, is my trading going to take me to where I want to be in a year or 10 years, or is it not going to take me there? This tool will help you start to identify whether or not it will take you there. Now, just because you have a positive trading edge doesn't mean you're actually going to be profitable. And that comes down to the next calculator that we have, which is our losing streak calculator. A lot of people, when I talk to them, they don't really know how to set the proper amount of risk. We call it an acceptable loss amount. How many trades, or how much money should you lose on a trade, or are you willing to lose on a trade in order to make the hope for return? A lot of people don't know how to quantify that. But again, there's been a lot of statistical mathematics that have been done that it says, look, if you have, let's say you're going, in this case, you're going to do 266 trades in a year, and your combined win rate between your trading edge and your actual trade or win rate is 46%. In this environment, you would expect to lose 143 trades, and there's a 60% chance you're going to lose 8 in a row. Now, if you lose 8 trades in a row and you've risked 5% of your account size on each of those trades, then all of a sudden you have a 40% drawdown in a worst case losing streak. Now, a 40% drawdown may be okay. You may be the kind of person that could handle a 40% drawdown and not freak out. But a lot of people would struggle to continue following their rules on a 40% drawdown, okay? So you've got
I would, and I've been trading since 2001. I wouldn't even be thinking about the drawdown so much as I'd be thinking about, why have I lost 8 times in a row? Like, if I lost 8 times in a row, it's like saying I've got 6 months reserve parked away in cash for my business to run in case I get in a situation. My business has run profitably for 15 years straight, month after month. But if I go 6 months in the hole, then at least I've got the money to get me there. Well, why in the hell would I keep my business open for 6 full months and operate on reserve when historically I've made money for 15 years in a row, that many months in a row? Why would I wait 6 months to quit or to back away, right? So 8 trades and that is psychologically, I don't know if you guys will agree with me in the chat, but put the number 8 in the chat. If you agree with me, 8 in a row is a lot. That means something's up, right?
Well, you think that, but this is not a high win rate. This is not a high win rate approach, and I've designed it this way personally for me because it'll make me more money than a high win rate approach, and it's also less risky. Sounds weird to say that, but it's also very true. One of the things that I'm glad you brought that up is that when you're in the middle of a losing streak, a lot of people freak out. You know, they panic. and they pull the plug way too soon. If you know in advance that you're trading, that you plan to make, trade a day for the next year, and you're only going to win about 46% of them, that you're going to lose, there's a 60% chance of losing 8 in a row, well, then you're emotionally prepared for that. And you're financially prepared because you set a stop loss that makes sense in an 8 losing streak environment. So you don't freak out, you don't panic, and you don't have a catastrophic loss that prevents you from being able to continue following your rules, the rules that are predicting, a result. The final calculator is build your trading framework. It's very important that you have a framework that consists of more than knowing how to read charts and knowing what to get into and when to get into it, whatever service that you've purchased to help you with that. A trading framework helps you manage your expectations because it gives you very clear predictions. In this case, you can see I have a combined win rate of 46%. I'm going to do 266 trades a year. My risk per trade is 554. My profit per trade is 1,423. My account size is 100,000. 1 year of trading gives me a 95% return. These numbers predict a 95% return. All right. Even with an 8 in a row losing streak, I should still make 95, 96% for the year. So this is the ability to create a set of predictions, and what it allows you to do as well is that you can start entering in who are you as a person. How do you customize what you're doing to get the results you want? Already you're getting much more systematic just by thinking about it this way, but you can also start designing rules. Well, my rule is I'm going to put a stop loss in so I only lose $554. I'm going to put a profit target in so I make $1,423 in this example. And you design it to be whatever you want. Now you'll notice that the risk per trade is much lower than the profit per trade. That's because this is a lower win rate strategy. If I flipped it and I had a risk per trade that was higher and a profit per trade that was lower, then my combined win rate would naturally be higher because randomness is going to let me win more of the time. I work with a guru that they win about 93% of their trades, but they risk 7 to make 1. And risking 7 to make 1 says that randomness says you should win about 86% of the time. All right. So 93% win rate is awesome, and they do have a positive trading edge, but you're losing a lot of money on those individual trades on the losers. And if you're thinking too much about how much you can make and not enough about how much you can lose, you'll end up having a catastrophic loss. And that's important that you remember, what am I risking in order to make what I'm making, and not be focused on how much I can make, because that'll be a recipe for putting more and more money into that trade until, boom, you give it all back with a catastrophic loss.
Right. And I'll just say this, like I sit through probably 5 to 10 webinars a week in this industry. And when I see somebody say they have a super high win rate, I want them to show. I want you to, like, if you say you had said high win rate, I would say I need you to show them exactly how you got that high win rate, because it's high win rates don't necessarily mean profit, right? So you need to show me both. Show me the win rate, and then show me with that how do you turn that into profit. And they can't, because they don't have they can do I would say high level type numbers, but they don't really dial it down like this tool does to say to you, look, because if you said to me, oh, Jeanette, let me come on your show, I'm going to show people how to win 46% of the time, I'll be like, why does anybody give a shit about 46% of the time? I'm telling you, I just know that I know who our trader is. I know who our attendee, our reader, our subscriber, I know who they are, and they are looking for, they're already probably doing something in their own house to get, whatever, 4% on a savings account or something. They want to hear and see big numbers, and what you're saying to me is it's not necessary. In fact, do you have that spreadsheet that you showed me? It's like your trades or something. Y'all look at that spreadsheet. Like I told Lincoln, I'm like, if I need this, I personally, there you go, Ultra. That's right. I remember Ultra because that's the beer that I drink. Full disclosure. this is kind of spreadsheet that for me, really, like, I'm a total dive in numbers person, but when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is some clarity for me that you're keeping up with it. Even if you look at, there it is. How many losers is that in a row? Is that 8?
That's 8 losers in a row.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'd be shitting a brick over here. I'd be like, all right, Jeanette, time to rein it in. Make sure that you don't let all your emotions and your life BS get in the way today of your trading. I would be thinking like that. I would be thinking it was me and not strategy.
And that's the thing, right? A lot of people do exactly what you're saying. And I've talked to thousands of people. I know this is the psychology that the traders have. And it's wrong. It's bad thinking. But they don't have, really, what I'm teaching has never been taught at any level by anybody ever. It took me 7 years to discover this. And I had several coaches, full-time jobs almost, were to help me discover these principles. So you'll notice I started these trades. I started following the system that I designed for myself for entry. I have an entry mechanism, and then I have these risks and rewards and all this stuff going in December 1st last year. I've closed 268 trades now, and I've had 144 losing trades, 124 winning trades. Risk, and those are my actual numbers of what the average. I was trying to go for risk 500 to make 1100. But I had this year was a really good year in the market. I had a lot of gaps up. I had a few gaps down, and that's the difference here, why it's not quite exact. The randomness would suggest, given this ratio, I should only win 28% of the time. I won 46% of the time for an 18% trading edge and a profit ratio of 2.57, despite all these losses in a row. I'm almost up 100%, and I only traded stocks. I didn't trade options or anything else. I wanted to keep it super simple. My average days in trade, nine days in trade. That's it. So I was actually showing Jeanette all these cool tools that I developed, and then I showed her this, and she's like, Lincoln, this is the tool that I want everyone to see. This is the tool I want to be included. So I'm going to give you those other 3 tools, and if you register today, I'll also give you this spreadsheet so you can use it for yourself, adapt it however you want. I'll show you how to do that in our boot camps. But you'll get access to this as part of the boot camps when you register today, okay? Any questions?
Oh, I don't have any questions. That's great. Well, like, give it up. And look at you keeping us right on time because it's 10 Eastern.
Yep.
Okay. And so this is another thing I was talking about earlier, y'all, that makes what Lincoln doesn't compete with anybody else that I have here today, because what he's got is just tools and experience, and then that team that can help you no matter what, what trading company, software, strategy that you're following. He's got the other side of that, right? He's got that keep you in your own lane and not let you freak out when you lose 8 in a row, because the strategy should pay you eventually. You just have to wait it out. You have to wait it out and not freak out like people like me who start throwing things, or maybe jump off cliffs somewhere. I don't know.
Well, and you have to be structured right, and you have to have the right, really what it is resetting expectations, right? You get a lot of expectations from the marketing out there for these programs, and you don't know how to really implement it the right way, and we can help you do all of that as part of what we do. I don't know, one of the other things we're doing, if you register before noon today, we're doing a drawing at noon, right, Jeanette?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're supposed to put that on a slide to help me remember stuff like that. We are doing a drawing at noon today here in this room to give away $5,000 worth of training from Lincoln and his team. So if you register now, we're pulling that name from the people that register for the free tools. So I'll set an alarm as soon as we get off this call. I gotta set an alarm, people. Maybe hopefully Lincoln will come back and help us do that giveaway. I didn't put that on you earlier, Lincoln, but we're gonna give away $5,000 worth of training from him directly, and that's like, I mean, can I sit in on the training?
You can. I'd love to have you there.
He's gonna tell us no. Come on now. All right, y'all, give it up for Lincoln. Lincoln, I'm going to go ahead and release you this morning. This was fabulous. This was fun too. It's fun for me to sort of hear the other side of things that I don't normally get to hear with the speakers that we have here at Trade Thirsty. And so this was really phenomenal. Thank you so much. And if you text me and let me know if you can make it back at noon, you can help me or pull a name out of a hat for all the people that are getting signed up.
Of course, I'll be there for sure. I'll text you, but I'll also be there.
All right. Well, I'm going to take the presenter status back and turn my PowerPoint back on. If I can go find that sucker, there it is. All right, Lincoln, thank you so much. I'm going to dismiss you as a speaker.
All right.
You can come back in after I dismiss you. I do this on purpose so that you don't accidentally shut the whole room down and make my life hell for about 18 minutes. Okay, I'm dismissing you. Feel free to sign back in.
All right. Thanks, Jeanette. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, thank you. All right, everybody, there's you should be seeing a slide on the screen that has the link. I made that link for him because he had a really long link that I never would have been able to say or remember out loud. So we have tradethirsty.com/yes is how you get registered to get the tools. You'll get the tools and the free boot camp next month for nothing. And then also that puts you in the drawing to potentially win the $5,000 training from him today. This is all stuff that I secured before we got in here, because I said to myself, what can I go ask these gentlemen to do, gentlemen and lady today that we have, what can I ask them to do that would be in the spirit of giving? And so I'm so thankful for that.